Welcome to El Trapiche Tour, and my name is Diego. The tour here, it's a family business, it's a family project, so it's my family who works around. Right now, my father and my brother, they're working at the machines. My mother, she's preparing some things. I'm one of the drivers, one of the guides, so it's the whole family. And our tour name is El Trapiche. Trapiche is the machine that presses the sugar cane, the sugar mill. That is Trapiche. We're going to walk in a regular farm. We're going to try to learn a lot of different things. The big main thing is here, the whole process of the coffee, the whole process of the sugar cane, the process of the cocoa, maybe chocolate. There's a little bit of everything. If you have any question about something, about the tour, you just can ask. There's no problem. If I don't know the answer by any reason, because we never know the questions, on the other side, it's my father. He has a lot more experience than me, so maybe he can answer. But most of the things I already know because I grew up working in this farm, and I learned a lot of things to be the tour guide. If you don't understand something they said in English, please ask. English is my second language, and I'm still learning. Okay? Ready?
Yeah.
Vamos. I stop here. It's called arracache. And with arracache, we use the root. With the root, we boil it, we peel it, and then we cut it in small pieces. And in Spanish, we cut something in small pieces. It's called picadillo. But there's a lot of different type of picadillos of any kind of vegetable or something you just cut. The picadillo of arracache is really traditional, and people prepare that when it's community parties or when people are getting married. So in some places in Costa Rica, when some friends ask another friends, when are you getting married? So instead of that, here the friends ask when we eat some picadillo of arracache. So that means when are you getting married? And that friends that they're asking, they want to be in the wedding, in the party, because they ask when we eat. It's really traditional us like that. So with that, we mix with potatoes, with peppers, cilantro, beef, and they have a really nice taste. I'm telling about the plant because at the end of the tour, we're going to drink some coffee if you want, and we can get some of that for taste. Now, normally, my mother, she mix it with beef. So I need to ask if there's any vegetarians, so I can tell my mother no beef. Vegetarians, no beef is okay. Beef is okay. See, right? Okay. So, but to taste that, you need to remember the name of the plant.
How to say that?
You're there. See? Arracache. Arracache. Remember that. Because if you don't remember, I'm sorry. You don't get the taste. Okay? Arracache. Okay? See? At the end of the tour, we're going to take smartphones, just in case if you're cheating, yeah? Okay, arracache. Let's go there. Let me go and grab something here, just to show you later. Here, these are coffee trees.
Oh?
But I'm just pick a few fruits. But that's just to explain later, yeah? We have these ones. They are just different varieties. That is why the structure of the tree looks different, yeah? But later I'm going to explain about coffee. The thing is, in the other side, there's no fruits. We're already finished with the harvest, yeah? So
Okay.
I just picked this one to explain later. So let's go this way. Some bananas here, yeah? Bananas, well, we have it here for the family. There's a lot of them sometimes, but just for the family use, yeah? Do you know how to say banana in Espanol? Banana?
Banana.
Arracache, no. That's it. Okay, yeah. In Costa Rica, we say banano. Banano. Because if you learn Spanish in Europe, in Spain, for the banana they call plátano. And plátano in Costa Rica means plantain. Okay? So are the ones that we have to fry or cook before you eat. Okay? So bananas for us. You can go in the supermarket and say banana. But if you say plátano, huge thing that you have to fry or cook. And if you don't get used to eat it raw, you can get a stomachache, yeah?
哦，在我们那到处是红的也有，白的也有。
这是香甘蔗。
old macadamia tree. Okay. So here we have a little bit of sugar cane. When my great-grandfather, he started farming, he started with sugar. But then my grandfather changed the farm for coffee because it's better to grow coffee than sugar cane up here. So most of the farm is with coffee right now. Sugar cane is just a little, basically to make small demonstrations in the tour. Have sugar for the family, have, sell sugar to our neighbors, but we are not like growing sugar cane to sell right now. Okay, before yes, right now not. We grow coffee for sale right now. Okay. So, do you know something about sugar cane?
Really make it
Sweet, yeah?
sweet.
Okay. Make sugar, yeah? Make
Sounds
molasses. Molasses is a type of syrup. And from molasses you can make rum. Brazil, they use a lot of sugar cane to produce ethanol. And they're using like gas for cars. With the bark of the cane, with the leaves, people use and make fiber to make paper, insulation walls, food containers. A lot of restaurants in Costa Rica, when you go and order food to go, instead of plastic or the styrofoam, they're using bark of sugar cane. Okay, there's a lot of uses. Yeah. First, with the sugar cane, we have to be careful, and we have to be careful of the sides of the leaves. They are so
Schneiden
sharp;
immer.
they can cut you really easy. Okay, so if I go down, no problem. But if I go up, it's like a surrender. Yeah. So be careful with the leaves. Then at the base of the leaves, in all these parts, they have some spines that are like spikes, yeah? So sometimes you touch that and they get so deep and you don't see it, you just feel it, yeah? So careful with the leaves. With the cane, no problem, okay? Sugar cane, it's original from India. And it is Christopher Columbus that built the first canes to America and the second travel. So same family of the grass, same family of the bamboo. And the way that we grow sugar cane is we just come and cut the sugar cane in small pieces. For example, we can cut a piece like this long. Around here, there's some joints. So from one piece, you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sugar canes from one piece. We cut this, and then we go and plant it. When we plant it horizontally. So you can have 8 sugar canes growing up at the same time. The first time that you plant it, you need to wait 1 year because they need to make the root and they need to grow. But once the root is made, it takes only 8 months to grow one cane and be ready to harvest. The way that we harvest is just with a machete. So we come with a machete, we cut a little dip, and there's another shoot growing from the same root system. And when I say with a machete, it's because there's machines that harvest the sugar cane. The problem is the machine, it doesn't work in mountains or hills. So here, we have to come and do it with the machine. Sugar cane inside, they can get like 50% water, 50% sugar. One of the bigger problems of Monteverde is that normally we have a lot of rain, a lot of water. Not like this beautiful days, yeah? So here, the sugar cane, they absorb like 75% water, 25% sugar. So that is why the bigger plantations are at lower elevations, places that are drier than here. The problem at low elevations, it's if you see the dead leaves around the sugar cane, that is the natural fertilizers from the ground, but that is the perfect house for mice. So they come and they eat the base of the sugar cane and the sugar canes are falling down, and is the perfect house for snakes. The snakes eat the mice, yeah? So it's dangerous. Go with a machete and cut the sugar cane near the snakes. So people who harvest the sugar cane, they usually use long roots. See? Long roots. They use long gloves, long machetes, just to be a little high, not so close from the ground. There's a lot of places in a lot of countries that the people before they harvest the sugar cane, they burn all the plantation. Yeah, in a lot of places right now you see burning the fields. Yeah, so they burn it by different reasons. One of the reasons is burn the leaves that they can cut really easy. The dead leaves and the snakes are going to get burned. Some snakes are going to leave away. But the main thing of the burning process is burn the sugar cane. So you burn the sugar cane outside. Inside, the percent of water is going to be reduced and the percent of sugar is concentrated. So when you're going to cook, the sugarcane juice is less time because part of that water, it's already evaporated. Okay. Later, we're going to see the process of the sugar cane, the old-fashioned way of making raw sugar. That my father is cooking the sugarcane juice right now. So this part of the tour here is just to explain a little bit about the plant, how did they grow. At the end of the tour, that we see the process is going to be more tasty. So later, we taste the products. When we harvest, here we're selecting the ones already. But in a lot of the plantations, they harvest in the dry season. So basically, we started harvesting in December, January, February, March, April. Those months are harvest. Depends how they plant it, yeah? When they plant it. So usually it takes about a year. So they plant it in the rainy season to harvest in the dry season because it's going to be less water inside.
Yeah, right.
What is sweeter, the thicker one or the thinner one?
There's a lot of different varieties. Some ones are a little sweeter than other ones, and that one, it's a variety that's called PH45. They are soft, really soft. Okay. There's another one that's thicker, purple. They are sweeter, but they are hard, really, really hard to bite. Yeah, almost like wood. So, yeah. This is a small coffee trees here. A coffee plant there. Bless you. Coffee seeds. Yeah. So, do you know something about coffee?
Tastes good.
Tasting? Taste good?
Makes you feel good.
Yeah, makes you feel good. We need to roast it. Do you know where the coffee comes from originally? Which country? Ethiopia? See, that's right. Coffee is from Africa. And if we say a country, it's going to be Ethiopia. There's two species that people usually know because those are the commercial ones. That is Arabica and Robusta. Arabica is about 70% in the world. Robusta coffee is about 29%. And there's 1% of Liberica coffee. The people don't usually know because it's 1%, so people don't talk about Liberica coffee. And there's 115 more species in Africa that people they're not using for the drinks right now. Maybe later, but not now. Okay? So in Costa Rica is just a really small country. Costa Rica produces only 1% of coffee in the world. So we try to compete in quality, not in quantity. So in Costa Rica, by law, we can grow only Arabica coffee. That was a law, because last year they changed it. Yeah. So now we can grow Robusta coffee if we want. So there's a few farmers growing Robusta, but the Robusta can you only sell it locally, not for export yet. Okay, we can export Arabica, but not Robusta. All right, at the moment. So the difference from Arabica and Robusta is the Robusta coffee grows at low elevations. The tree is a stronger tree, produce a lot. It's stronger in taste. It's stronger about caffeine. Has double than Arabica. It's stronger about problems. Problems, that means fungus. Okay. Arabica is opposite. Grows in high elevations, has less production, less stronger taste, more problems with fungus. But they have a really nice characters and flavors. So that is why people prefer Arabica coffee than Robusta coffee. A lot of companies, they do blends. They do blend of a lot of Robusta with a little bit of Arabica, or a lot of Arabica with a little bit of Robusta to sell. Okay. All right. So with the coffee, we have seeds to get new trees. We plant a lot of them pretty close. In 45 days, they start growing, and they start growing like a bean. There's one growing here, like a bean. When they are like those beans, we make pears. This one here. You see it? Yeah. When they're like that, we make pears and we plant it in bags like this. Why pears? Because they start making like a competition for light. So so that may grow faster. If one die, there's going to be another one there. And also for the space in the field. That is why it's basically 2. When they have 8 months until a year, the trees can be like this tall, depends on the variety. And when they are like this tall, they are strong enough to be planted in the field of the place that we're going to harvest. From seed to get the first production, you need to wait 3 years. Then the coffee trees, they produce for 4 or 5 years of really good production. And when they have already 4 or 5 years producing coffee, we come and we cut the trees. So we cut the trees, we let a small trunk. From that trunk, they grow another shoots, and they produce more coffee for another 4 or 5 years. But then we cut it back again, and they grow shoots back again, and they produce for another 4 or 5 years. And then we cut it back again. So we still cut in the trunk until the root has 30 to 40 years old. After that, the root is old. It's better if you take the whole root and it starts with a new variety. In 30, 40 years, there's a lot more different varieties, so they're more productive, stronger about problems, and gives better quality in the taste. Okay? Let's walk a little down. There's some trees there, and I can explain you here. These are coffee trees that we this year have 3 years, so this year are just preparing to start giving its production. You can see the branches here are going to be all the fruits. First flowers. The flower is white color, it looks like star, and it smells really sweet, like jasmine, yeah? So in Monteverde, we usually get flowers in March and April, sometimes in May, but March, April, okay? In Costa Rica, there's 8 different regions of coffee. Depends on the elevation you have, the weather you have, they start blooming early and they start harvesting early. So some places get flowers in January. They harvest in September, October. Here, we harvest November, middle of November, December is when we start the harvest season. Okay, so all this are going to be full of fruits that are going to be red when they are ripe. But with the new varieties, some fruits are turning yellow when they're ripe, or some fruits are turning orange when they're ripe. But most of the coffee is red when it's ready to be harvested. So it's going to be all fruits around here, and we're going to do a hand pick, okay, of these fruits. Now, about varieties, there's a lot of different ones. When my grandfather started the farm, he started with Caturra and Catuai. Those are the varieties of that years. But we have been changing, 3 years ago, we have been changing a lot of the farm to new varieties. So we have Geisha, we have Ethiopia, we have Pacamara, Maragogipe, Sarchimor, Sarchi. Each variety can give you different characters and flavors, okay? Because if we go 20 years back, people just drink a strong coffee. But right now, it's called the third wave of coffee. You found right now in a lot of the markets, a specialty coffee shop, okay? And they are selling something that people call specialty coffee. Coffee is just people cupping, taste it, and give points, give more than 80 points. More than 80, that means it's a specialty coffee, okay? If you get 85, it's a specialty boutique. If it is more than 90, those are President's coffee, okay? And cupping, people will check fragrance, aroma, acidity, sweetness, body, aftertaste. So they're giving points of all that. More points, better quality, better price for you, okay? More expensive the coffee. Now, geishas are coffees that are being winning best cup of coffees in a lot of countries, because it tastes so different. It doesn't taste like coffee. People are drinking this more like a tea. So a lot of people are paying a lot of money. People from Asia, countries in Japan, Taiwan, Korea, are paying a lot of money for this type of coffees. So a lot of people, they want to grow this because they're changing until that to get a specialty coffees and then different flavors. Okay. Now,
are they harder to grow, geishas?
Sorry?
Are they harder to grow at all, or?
They're more delicate. It's more, you can say, fragile of the wind. Has less production. The trees grows a lot taller than other ones. Yeah.
Okay.
So a little more difficult to harvest, but it's a lot better pay.
Yeah.
A lot more.
It's worth it.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so all right, let's go down. There's a small greenhouse there. I'm gonna explain about the dryer, and then we go to the other side to explain about harvest and problems about coffee. Okay, what we have here is just a demonstration how we dry the coffee. And when I say a demonstration, it's because in the other place, on the other side, they have a greenhouse like this, but almost like 15 times this big to dry the coffee. This is basically for the tour. So here, we are just drying the same variety of coffee, just with a different process. For example, this one, the day looks black, is something that we call natural process. So natural process means we pick the fruits when they are red, just like this, when they're ripe, and then we just go and let it dry.
Oh, okay.
Takes 3 weeks to be dry. But in that 3 weeks, all the fruity flavor of the shell outside is being absorbed by the seed. Coffee is a fruit. So it's absorbed by the seed. So it makes the taste fruity. A lot more fruity taste. Alright. That other one, this one here, it's called honey process. Honey process means we take the red shell off, but we don't wash the sweet sap that the coffee has around. Okay? So it makes the coffee a sweeter taste. So it's nothing with honey. We don't come and spray honey here. No. The taste is sweeter. The thing is, when you go to the markets and you read honey process, it's interesting, yeah? Let's buy this. Okay, so it's more for marketing, but the taste is sweeter. Alright? Because the regular process of the coffee is wash process. This coffee, they go to one machine. The machine take the red shell off. The machine wash the sweet sap just by water. And usually go to another machine to dry the coffee in 24 hours. Okay? I mean 48 hours. Once the coffee is dry, we put the coffee in sacks. We give 3 months so they can develop more aromas and flavors, not be so arable. And then we're going to continue with the process. Taking another shells out and roasting the bean. Okay? So we dry all the coffees until they have 10 to 12% of humidity. When it's 10 to 12, we put in the sacks. Okay? See? So this coffee, they have another shell. So if I open this, see? This is the second shell, and this is the coffee. Okay? See? Alright. Now, normal fruit, they just have 2 seeds inside. But 10% of the production, instead of growing 2 seeds, they grow 1. And 5% of the production, instead of growing 2 seeds, they grow 3. That's random in the same trees. For example, you see on my hand, a round one, halves, purple. So the single seed, it's called pea berry coffee, and it's considered a really good quality. Why? Because it's only 1 seed. So all the caffeine, all the oils, all the flavors just concentrate in 1. If it is 2, everything has to be divided in 2. If it is 3, it has to be divided in 3. So more seeds, lower the quality. Any questions about the dryer? can go and see the trees and explain about harvest. Fine? See? Okay. This way. Okay. So the way that we harvest the coffee is by hand. No machines. Not in Costa Rica. Because Brazil, they have machines. The machine is like a big tractor. They go in the middle of the trees and the machines are shaking the trees and the fruits are falling down. Brazil grow a lot of robust coffee, grow a lot of coffee in lowlands that are flat, so a lot more easy to work with machines. If we see this, you see it down, this is really flat compared to other coffees in Costa Rica. We have another farm 5 kilometers from here, coffee is planted like this. If you go to a lot of farms in Costa Rica, coffee is planted like this. Okay, so you go with the baskets, all hands are free, and then we go and look for the ones that are ripe. They don't bloom all at the same time, so we don't harvest the coffee all at the same time. So we pass, pick the red ones, let the green ones a month, and then we pass again. Pick the red ones, let the green ones a month, and then we pass again until the harvest is just finished. Ticos. Do you know what a tico means? Costa Rican people. So I'm a tico. The ticos, we don't really like to pick coffee. We are lazy for this work. So one of the things that we're doing here on the farm, it's using, do you know?
Tour people.
Oh, you're learning. Tourists, yeah? They come, they don't pass the test, so back to the fields with a huge baskets, yeah? A lot of people from Germany, Canada, United States, France. Yeah? Actually, we have a lot of people from Nicaragua and indigenous from Panama. They come in families. We give a house to the farm and the family comes in. 3 months is the harvest, it's raining. So you need to come and pick the coffee down the rain. But the main reason that we don't like to pick coffee is the way that this work, it's paid. The work, it's paid per baskets. We don't pay per hours. Because if we pay per hours, the people, they go really slow and they don't fill the basket in the whole day. So we need a pay per basket, so they go really fast harvesting the coffee. One basket full, you weigh 13 kilos, 28 pounds. One full is paid $3. So $3 for the full basket. A normal man, they usually get one basket in 1 hour. A lot of people start 6 in the morning until 4 o'clock. They usually get 10 to 15 baskets in a day. So 15 baskets times $3, that is $45. That is good money for Nicaraguan people. So that is why we have a lot of migrant workers for the harvest season. And after that, they go back to Nicaragua. Okay? So, even for Costa Rican people, it's good money. But it's a hard work. So they prefer and do something else than just harvest the coffee. Okay? So, the idea is go look for the red ones. If you want to go by quality, only red. If it is almost purple, it's better because there's a lot more sugars in the fruits. Okay? No green ones, no have red, have green. Yeah? If you want to go by quality, only red. Okay? Now, with the trees, well, you see it around. All this are going to produce fruits. These branches are already produced. So maybe this year we already picked the fruits from here. So they're producing in the part that they grow. But last year, if you just give good nutrients, they can grow back fruits there. Okay? The thing is, after 4 or 5 years, we have a pretty tall tree producing a lot on the top and not a lot of down. So it's better to cut it, get new shoots, new branches with a lot more production. Okay? The ticos, we're not so tall. Okay? So the geishas are good for the German people. So you're tall, yeah? Okay? Okay, so like this, looking for the fruits are ripe. So if we talk about problems, we have problems with fungus. There's different type of fungus. And fungus is champion. So we try to do more organic that we can. But if you ask me if this farm is organic, I have to say no, because some years we don't use any fungicides, but some years we need to use a little, and using that little is not considered organic, because to be organic, the land, 3 years no chemicals, then you plant the tree and then you grow those trees with no chemicals. That is organic. You can sell them more expensive, okay, because it's organic. I know farms that they're 100% organic and they sell the coffee really expensive, but the quality of the coffee is really low, because one thing is organic and other thing is quality, and we're working with the line of quality, okay? So if we need to use it, we're gonna use it. Otherwise, we don't use it. Some years we don't use, but some years we need to use a little, okay? And we have problems with insects. There's different type of insects. There's one that they get in the fruit. So when it's the blooming time, this insect come for the nectar of the flowers, and when the flowers fall off, the fruit, the insect goes in the fruit. Make a hole, the females, they make a hole and they let egg inside of the hole. The egg get a larva, and that larva, they start eating the seed inside. So you see a beautiful coffee outside, inside nothing. So there is insecticides, but we are using a bacterias for the fungus and for the insects, bacterias first. And for the insect, we're using that white trap. White color, because the flowers are white, and we put some alcohol on the top. So when the insect come off the flowers, they come and they see that big, beautiful flower that smells really sweet, and the insect say, what? Liquor, alcohol, yeah? So they go at the trap, yeah? They drink the alcohol, so they get drunk. They cannot fly up, so they go down. Up the bottom is water, so they stuck on the water, and they cannot fly again, so they die. But they die really happy. Don't worry about the insect. Okay? The first effect is making drunk. They stuck on the water and they cannot fly again. Okay? So they die. And we put the traps in some points around the plantation, not in each tree. Okay? The trees right now, they don't look so healthy, so nice, because we just finished in the first week of March, the last harvest. Okay, so people are being touching the trees, grabbing the fruits, taking leaves also. So now we're just giving nutrients back. We're waiting for rain, so the water are gonna produce a lot more leaves and be so strong for the next harvest. Okay? Any questions about the coffee trees? So we can go and see the machines and understand the process.
Yeah.
Okay? See? All right. These are the machines that we use. They are pretty small, but they work really fast. It's not for our plantation. So this machine works with the fruits when they're ripe. So once we pick it, we have 24 hours to start doing the process. Because after that, they start fermenting by themselves. Okay? So that means the day that we pick it, we're going to process it next day. So they're going to come in here. This part works with water, and it's basically to clean the fruits. And the water is recycled. So that is a water pump, takes the water back again. Yeah? So the fruits goes in the water. They get in here. And if we have problems with larvae, the fruits floats. So we skim it out. Good ones are heavy. They're going to go down. And if we want to do a natural process, we collect it out there, and we wash it. But if we want to do the manual wash process, it goes up in the pipe. And this part here, the machine, inside they just press. They press and do this. It takes the shells out. Okay? See, it's sugary. Yeah? All this is sugar. Okay? So the seeds comes here. And if you see here, there are some metal bars and there's some space. So the seeds just go. But if people pick green fruits, the green shell are really attached to the seed, and the press cannot take the green shells out. So it comes the whole coffee, the whole fruit. And the whole fruit is bigger,
We'll stop here.
so they don't grow. So the green ones comes here in a sack. And we can use these green ones as a really lower quality. It is a terrible taste. Okay. But we use it. We sell it. Okay? Not wasted. The shells go straight outside, and we collect it outside because we use the shells for compost. We also use it, well, we can use it for make tea right now. A lot of people are using the shells to make tea, flour, and making bread. We're not doing that in the company here, but in other places. Or a lot of people dry and sell it to a lot of coffee roasters. And they roast it with the coffee and they sell it in the package. Coffee.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Alright. The seeds go through. They come outside here in a sack, and that is the honey process. Or this is the washing machine. We just connect the washing machine here, connect the water, and just like water. In a centrifuge, the coffee they get washed. And they get outside here already. When they come already washed, we pass to a dryer place. When it's dry, in the sacks, 3 months, we continue with the process. Okay? The machine processes 2,000 kilos of coffee per hour. So it works for 1 hour and a half, 2 hours every day of the harvest season. When it's not the harvest season, this is just a piece of metal here. No use. Right? Okay. So, a lot of baristas right now they're giving points and they're describing flavors in your coffee. So if you go on YouTube and write competitions of coffee 2018, you're going to see the barista saying, my coffee they have citrus acidity like orange. And that's essential. Sweetness like caramel. Body, if it is high body, medium body, low body. And the aftertaste they're describing the fruit. So you can hear saying, my coffee tastes like pineapple, like grapes, like strawberries. A lot of different descriptions of fruits. Yeah? So, and a lot of people are buying this coffee expensive because in the global market, the price of coffee is was $94 yesterday. I didn't check today. $94. That is per sack of 100 pounds, 46 kilos. Okay? But if it's coffee from Costa Rica, that we guarantee quality, it's Arabica, what makes different from the rest of the world is the acidity. I know some people don't like acidity, but it's the difference of the coffee from Costa Rica. We can sell them $200 the sack. But if it is honey processed, we can sell it $350. It's more complicated, a lot more work because they have sugars and they can get fermented if you don't work with that. With a natural process, we can sell it $400, $500. So, a little more. If they taste good, because you can do honey or natural. If they don't taste good, the price that I'm go for that money, it's gonna be low. All right. And this thing we see back here, this tank, it's a new process that a lot of farms are working in Costa Rica. Basically more small farms, and it's an anaerobic process. It means that there's no oxygen. A fermentation process with no oxygen inside. Okay. So we put out all the fruits in here. In this case, we're working with fruits. Yeah. We close it, and we add CO2. So it's quite similar like doing beer. Okay. See? We're gonna let it ferment in here. We're gonna make a recipe. We're gonna check temperature. We're gonna check pressure. Here's usually a pipe. This pipe. So we get liquids. We get juice, and that juice we're gonna check pH. We're gonna check sugar beads, alcohols. Okay. So we make a recipe of that. And what this makes for the coffee is more intense flavors. So to those coffees, the people say, okay, my coffee tastes like pineapple. In here, they can taste like really, really ripe pineapple. or they can get more species flavors. Cinnamon in the coffee. Okay? And
Da kommt man noch mehr.
it's hand painted, so you never found one the same of that. It's just original. They make their own signs, yeah? It's a lot of work. So it's really good. Really good spread, yeah? Okay. These are the trapiches, these are the sugar mills. We have this one that worked with the ox, is the way that my great-grandfather started the farm, yeah? So we attach the ox at the stick, and the ox, they start making circles really slow, okay? Because if they go really fast, they get dizzy, so they stop and they don't want to work. So we have them train pretty well. We put the canes on this side. The masters are going to press and take the juice out, so the juice comes here. And the bark of the cane is going to come on this other side. But they don't press so well, so we need to do it twice. Okay, so it's a lot of work. Here's my brother, Royden. And then my grandfather changed to this, to a water wheel, and then to a diesel motor. So you see we have a diesel motor in the back when I use it. Right now we're just going to give you a demonstration with a water wheel. In this case, the water is the power. You're pressing a lot of juice will come in here. Juice will be there. And then the cord comes to the other side. See? No juice, really dry. Yeah? So with this, we call bagasso. Bagasse. We put back there. 1 month to get totally dry. And then we use like wood fire to cook the same sugar cane juice. Okay? Or paper, insulation as well, food containers. So right now we just make a small demonstration. We're just collecting the juice there. We're not using that juice. But normally when we're working, there's a pipe which takes the juice to that other side. So if you see the one on the right, it's just water. The one on the left has sugarcane juice. It's been boiled for 2 hours. So all the water percentage evaporates and the sugar is concentrated down. Fire is just underneath those pans. Yeah? So take a look at that one. Because we're going to explain when we get down there. We're going to work when we get down there. Okay? We can go this way. Here, that's fine. This is an alcohol still. Some people call this moonshine. So you know people make rum from sugarcane. So here we make guaro, really strong alcohol drink. So when you get the sugarcane juice, we put it in one tank. We let it ferment for 3 weeks. When it's fermented, we put it in this tank. So we put fire, so we start boiling. The vapor, they go up and pass through a copper pipe. We use copper to purify the liquor. Here, it's going to be cold water. So when the vapor goes in the copper pipe and they touch the cold from the water, they make a condensation process. So they get condensed in here, and at the end of the pipe, is to start coming as a liquor. We have a really tiny problem with this. This, it's illegal in Costa Rica. So please don't tell nothing about this. Don't upload the video on YouTube, okay? So this is illegal, so what we have here is just a demonstration. Okay? Are you clear with that? Yeah? This is just for educational purpose. Okay? See? So in Costa Rica, there is a national fabric of liquors, and they sell this, but the brand Cacique. Cacique means the chief of the indigenous people. What is the name of the liqueur? The bottles, they have 30% volume of alcohol. Doing this, you can get 60, 70, 80, 90 rubbing alcohol. So it's illegal because you don't control it. So you can produce methanol. But the main reason that it's illegal is because you don't pay taxes. Okay? So you don't get any income from liquors. And taxes and liquors are so high. We take a little bit of the caramel and we put it in cold water. So we're going to have a soft boil stage and a hard boil stage. When it's a hard boil, that is like a crystal that we can break, that means it's ready to start the cooling process. It's something that people in Canada do with the maple syrup. And in Quebec, they put it in snow. We don't have any snow here. We put it in cold water. Okay? So this looks like they need a little more time cooking. But my brother takes some early. That is just in here. So this one is ready. See this?
Oh.
Like caramel? So that means it's ready to start the cooling process. Okay? Let's see if this one here is ready now. Okay, not yet. Alright, so when it's ready, usually go to a centrifuge, and the centrifuge starts separating the molasses from the crystals of the sugar. In here, we just have molasses and crystals all just mixed. So when it's ready there, we pass through here we start cooling, we get a little solid, and when they start getting hard, when they start getting solid, we're going to pass through the molds. These molds. So we're going to get the shape that we want in making these blocks. People buy the block at home, supermarkets, and they take it home. At home, they shave it. So they get like brown crystals, they brown sugar. Or they get the whole thing, they put it in water, they boil again, and they make like syrup. With the syrup, you can put it in bread and pancakes and cereal. We don't have maple trees, so we use this instead of maple syrup.
Do you know what jaggery is? Is it the same?
In India?
Yeah, is it the same?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So here we have a little. We have to do it really fast. Come on, faster, faster. We have a competition. Let's see. Faster, faster.
感觉我方向不对。
Faster, faster. Faster.
哇天，变成什么了？
稀释。
Keep going, don't stop, keep going, faster. This process takes 30 minutes.
30 minutes? Is it? 这就是 brown sugar 了吧？
对啊，就所谓的卡拉梅。
Yeah, yours is ready. Same of yours. It's ready. Africa? Africa? Brazil?
Africa?
Africa? Colombia? No Costa Rica? No? No Costa Rica? Actually, the cocoa, if we say a country, is from Brazil.
Okay. Brazil.
Yeah, cocoa is from Brazil. Some people say Mexico and other people say Africa, usually. Why Mexico? Because the Mayas, Aztecs, in their history, they write it down that the cocoa is something that the gods gave it to them. Who were the gods? We don't know yet. But there are reports of cocoa in Brazil before Mexico. When the Spain people arrived to Mexico, the Aztecs, they thought that is the god who is coming back. So they give all the cocoa fields to Hernan Cortez. They saw that the cocoa was so important for the Aztecs and for the Mayas, and they used the cocoa as a currency. So they took 6 back to Europe to try to grow the cocoa there, and when they come back, they just can get cocoa and they can just get the gold, okay? But the trees didn't grow in Europe. So from Europe, some seeds go down to Africa and grows very well in Africa. So that is why there's a lot of cocoa coming from Africa right now, okay? There's different type of cocoa. There's criollo, there's forastero, there's trinitario. There's a lot of different varieties. And if we talk about genetic modified, there's a lot of them right now also. also. Okay. So the way that we grow cocoa, it's a little similar like coffee, but this time they grow faster and it's a taller tree. So we're gonna plant like this, one seed there, yeah. In 6 months, we have a tree ready to be planted out. To get production, you have to wait 3 years. That means a lot of people are grafting the trees, so you can get the production early. 2 years and a half, they can start producing some cacao. Okay. You see, there's some trees around here. The trees can grow taller. That means we build a greenhouse here to get these trees to show you, because Monteverde is windy and cold. Okay. So we have a farm 5 kilometers from here. They're opposite of the wind that we get from the Caribbean, and the trees are growing so well there. Okay. Actually, these days it's so dry, the sunlight is so strong, so they're burning. You see the tops? They're burning the leaves. So we have to make the greenhouse bigger now because the trees grow taller. A lot of people in big fields, they're cutting the top of the trees, like we did in this one. We cut the top, the trees grow on the side, and they don't grow tall, so they can be easy to harvest the fruits. Okay. One tree can produce about 5,000 flowers. From that 5,000 flowers, 10% it will go into a fruit. So that means about 500 fruits. Okay. We have in this tree example also those trees you can see it hanging there. Fruits around, and you can see the flowers around the branches. The flower, after the flower, it becomes a fruit. The fruits, when they are unripe, they're going to be green or purple. And when they're getting ripe, they're going to change the color more to yellow, orange, or red color. That depends on the variety. Okay? Something that's really characteristic in cocoa is you can get the fruits in branches like normal trees, but also you can get the front and the main trunk. Papayas grow the fruits in the trunk. Cocoa also can grow fruits in the trunk. Okay? Trees grows pretty tall. To compare this, they can grow similar as orange or apple trees, tall, yeah, and producing a lot of fruits. You can see it there. Really small at the beginning, really big at the end. Okay, you're gonna see it around, and all the trees have fruits. A few ones, some ones less than other ones, but fruits. Basically, we have 2 main harvests of the year. Cocoa. You can get fruits all year round, but 2 main harvests. Then, problems that we have with cocoa, there's a fungus, it's called Monilia, and they almost killed totally the cocoa plantations in the Caribbean side. And also, problems with animals. In this case, animals, they can grab the fruits and they bite it, so they can get the seeds inside. So we can say squirrels, coatis, agoutis, monkeys. So these big animals, so they just can grab fruits and bite it, alright? Let's go in here, so I can explain about the fruits. So you can see the fruits. They look similar like an American football. Okay? So depends on varieties. They're going to turn yellow, a little red, orange. Yeah, that depends a lot on the variety. And some ones are thinner and longer. Other ones are thicker. Yeah, that depends also a lot on the variety. Okay, this sounds a little dry. Let me check here. This one sounds a little better. So I'm gonna open this so we can see inside. Yeah, what we have. You know? See? Try to do it slowly so I can get the seeds in one side. There we go. See? This is not white chocolate. Okay? When we open the fruit, we don't have chocolate bars there. We have the seeds of the cocoa. Okay? So this has the taste of this. Did you taste it? Did you taste it before? See? And the taste is like what? What do you think? Sweet. That's right. They have a little sweet and sour taste. So we can say they taste a little similar like mango or a little similar like lychee. Okay? But actually the taste of this is cacao. I'm just comparing to something else that people normally know. Okay. So the fruit, this is a fruit. So they don't taste like chocolate. Okay? They taste like a fruit. All right. So once that we open the fruit, the first thing that we have to do is fermenting. The fermentation process is really important because they're going to give us a nice flavor of chocolate. No fermenting, no good chocolate for taste. Fermenting means let it sit for 7 days. Depends on the variety. It will be 5 or 7 days. So you can see these ones are just from today, but these other ones they have already 6 days. Okay. There's banana leaves around because banana leaves they have bacteria, so they help in the fermentation process. Okay. The way that indigenous people do a faster fermentation process is they open the fruits, they put the seeds in their mouth, and the bacteria from the mouth do a faster fermentation process. Okay? So, thank you for your help. Now, that's the old-fashioned way. We wouldn't do it anymore. Okay? Same company. They ferment it just like this. Okay? Always cover, because if I let it open, the air dry or the sunlight dry. So first, need to ferment. Next step, it's drying. So let's go to the next room to see the dry part. So we just can put it in a sack with plastic bags, pretty well closed, humidity control, and they can stay for about a year. No problem. Okay? Or we can go and do the roast. So from here, we can just go and roast it. So this tastes like chocolate, but this is bitter. Okay? In Costa Rica, that 80% of the cocoa producers are farmers. They do the fermentation process, the dry process, and after it's dried, they export it. Or in Costa Rica, there is the cocoa company. So they sell it to the cocoa company, and they sell it commercially. But if you go to supermarkets to look for chocolates, what you find in supermarkets is Hershey's, M&M's, chocolates from Europe, but not chocolates from Costa Rica. Only the cocoa company sells chocolates from Costa Rica by the brand Gallito. And that's it. That's where you find the chocolates from Costa Rica. Or bread company. But the bread is more focused in tourists. So you're going to find it just in only tourist places, in specific supermarkets, or in the airports. That's it. And they have more souvenirs and chocolate and coffee for souvenirs. Okay? So, the rest of the farms, they just ferment it and sell it. That's it. When I started the project, I visited a lot of farmers and I asked them if they make chocolates, and they say, we make chocolates for the family, but not for sale. And the way that they do it is they go roast it in the kitchen, grind it in a cornmeal, and they get the paste and they go and make the bars with that. So when I saw that process, that is the process I want to show. The way that a lot of Costa Rican people make their own chocolates is the process that we're going to see in the next room. But here, if you want, you can grab one, you can peel it, and you can taste it. But the taste is bitter.
还有点酒香味。
When you show. They work the same of the coffee roasting machine. It's a propane gas, so it's a flame off the bottom. It's a drum, so we put the cacao nibs in here, and they go around roasting. Takes 12 minutes to roast a kilo. Okay? Then we take it out. We pull it so fast. There's a fan. Pull it so fast so they don't continue roasting by themselves. Okay? When it's ready, we're gonna peel it, because in cocoa we roast it with a shell. In coffee we take all the shells out, but in cocoa we roast it with a shell. Because if we open that shell, they're gonna break in pieces. So put in pieces there is just burning pieces. So that's why we roast the whole thing. If we do light roast, the taste is a little more acidic. If we do dark roast, the taste is gonna be stronger. Okay? So here, I just have some cacao that it's already roast, that it's already peeled. Okay? So, with this, families just go in a cornmeal and grind it to get the paste. Okay? Here, we're gonna do it, but we just put it here, or we just add to the cornmeal a bicycle to make it easier. Okay? Alright. So I need A volunteer? Yeah.
你这是个。
You're doing a good job. He starts more, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, I need more for tomorrow. Just kidding. That's it. That is perfect. Thank you. So the smell here, it's really good. Smells really strong. You can smell it. Smells good. Yeah? Yeah, it smells really good. But this, it's 100% cocoa. This is really strong. This is really bitter. Okay? So, I'm going to give you spoons. You can take a little bit if you want it and taste it. If you like dark chocolate, you can take the whole spoon. For me, it's not a problem. But I'm just telling you that this is strong, yeah? So here, we're going to put this in there. There's real stones, and they're going to start grinding over there. They're going to go for hours. So you can do it for 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours. That depends on you and your recipe. For the first 30 minutes, it's just the cocoa, and then you start adding the crystals, the sugar. Okay? If you want to make a dark chocolate bar of 70%, that means 70% cocoa, 30% sugar. That makes 70% dark chocolate. 80% cocoa, 20% sugar. So here's going to be warm. It's not cooking, but warm. Yeah. So when we decide that it's going to be ready, we're going to take it out. We take it out and we temper it. We take half of them and temper it here to cool it a little bit, just to get the correct temperature, and then we mix both. Okay? We mix it just to get in the correct temperature. There will be about 35 Celsius, and then we're going to pass through the molds so we can get the shape that we want in the molds. Okay? When we have the shape, we pass for a cooling process that can be in the freezer for 5 minutes, and you have your chocolate bars ready to eat. If you don't temper it, if you don't do the correct temperature, the chocolate, they stuck on the molds. And when you flip it, they don't come off. They stuck there, yeah? So that is why it's really important temperatures in here. There's 35 Celsius. You see, it's not really high, it's not really low. Okay? Now, this is the way a lot of families do in Costa Rica. So they put the cacao in here. I think there's too much of that. So they put the cocoa there, and they're going to start grinding. They don't have those machines, yeah? So they start grinding and grinding and grinding there. So this is the cocoa liquor. This is this. Okay? In factories, when they have this, they can also go to a machine and press it so well. Pressing this, there's an oil coming on the side. And that oil is this, the cocoa butter. They're going to get like white or a little yellow and hard like this. Okay? If they're selling cocoa butter that's really liquid, or coconut butter that's really liquid, or other butters that are really liquid, that is not butter. They say it's butter, but it's fake butter. Okay? So it's going to be white and hard, or yellow and hard. Okay? And the cacao butter, people used to make the white chocolate. White chocolate is 20% of the butter, milk, and sugar. So healthy. Or they use the cocoa butter to make lipsticks, creams, lotions, a lot of cosmetics. Yeah. The powdered cocoa is the one they use to make the hot chocolate drinks. Because if you go and make hot chocolate with this, all the butter is in there. The butter floats on the top, so you see really oily on the top, and you say, uh-oh. Okay, so people extract this and make chocolate drinks with this. So a lot of people, they want to make chocolate bars, and they found this in supermarkets. To make chocolate bars, you need cocoa butter together. Okay? And they don't find cocoa butter, so what they add is vegetable oil. And they make a lot of chocolates with vegetable oil, cheaper price. Actually, some of the chocolates in markets, they don't have even cocoa. They have flavor of cocoa. But there's milk, sugar, other ingredients, and flavor of cacao. Okay? All right. So the indigenous people, they make this. They can add chili, they can add pepper, they can add vanilla. They're the things you can find in America, but no sugar, no milk. When the cacao get to Spain, and the king and the queen tasted it was better to drink, so they start adding sugar into the drink. People from England start adding milk, doing as a tea, and making as a fudge. Okay? And then people from Switzerland just make the texture of the bars, mold it, and that's it. Okay? So here I have the top secret ingredient. Sugar. That's right. See? Sugar from Colombia. Okay? No, it's powdered sugar, icing sugar. Okay, this is not cocaine, yeah? That makes it more expensive the chocolates in one. Okay.
So smuggle it in.
Alright, so I'm gonna mix the sugar with the cocoa. To make bars, it takes a long time, yeah? Grind it in temperature, yeah? So here is just mixing the cacao and the sugar. See, this takes hours if you want to do it pretty good. This is how I make my mussels. Yeah? Like this. And you can see I'm doing just for seconds. Yeah? See, no hours. Okay. Here I'm just mixing the sugar and the cocoa. That's it. Yeah? Here is the same, it's cocoa, sugar, it's milk. When we add milk, have to be powdered milk, no liquid, because cocoa and water is just for the drink, yeah? But not to cook, not to make bars, yeah? If we're making milk chocolate bars, we have to have powdered milk, okay? No liquid. So, the thing is here, I'm just turning it on when we get in, and we're like cooking. So if I let this on for more than half an hour, okay, they're gonna dry, cook the oil and get dry, and this will taste like brownie. Okay, not like chocolate. Okay, so the idea of chocolate bars is just grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding, but not cooking. Okay, that's the big difference. So this tastes a little different because here we're like cooking. This tastes different than the chocolate bars. We roasted it in a medium roast, so you can get a little more fruity flavor in here. Okay? So, do you want to taste it? She's layered with us and corn. And this is the traditional way that we prepare coffee in Costa Rica. It's called café chorreado. So we put 1 tablespoon for a cup of coffee, have water, you have your coffee ready to drink. Actually, the correct amount, it will be 10 to 12 grams of coffee for 150 grams of water. Okay? So, over here, we're going to have coffee, there's our sugar, there's white sugar, there's milk if you want. This is a lemonade with a citron, mandarin, lime, sugar, her sugar, and water, so refreshing. So you can get lemonade, you can get coffee, or you can get both. And this, remember the plant I explained to you at the beginning, the root.
Agravado.
Arracache. So this mix of potatoes, with pepper, cilantro, beef, is wrapped with tortilla, so you can take this like a taco. Okay?